All right, Sadia, I've seen you speak here and there, and I must say your insights are often spot on about red flags, boundaries, and what to avoid, especially when I put you on half the speed, since you're shooting all the words at hypersonic velocity. If this coaching gig doesn't work out for you, you can always get a job working at auctions, just so you know. But there's one thing I have to disagree with you, and it's something that you keep repeating that men and women they can just be friends. I'm positive this is just your opinion based on your own life and not backed by any science or facts because there is no backup. See, this isn't even my opinion either. This is our wiring. Testosterone isn't just for building muscles, it rewrites our brains during puberty. That girl we used to race bicycles with, play volleyball, and do game nights doesn't look the same anymore. By 16, we notice her butt, her hips, legs, hair, and arms, and those innocent hangouts aren't that innocent anymore. The fantasies rush in, and it could be confusing for us as well. Hobbies and interests take a drastic change around that age when we start to grow hair on our balls and our parts get elongated when we see cute girls. We just can't help it. Men, especially those who are emotionally and physically healthy and not carrying around unresolved trauma, have a natural and biological inclination towards attraction to females, and especially attractive ones. It's not a flaw, it's just how we are wired. So while friendship is hypothetically possible, it's more complicated than that, as we often have to kind of fake it. I'm not talking about situations when one would have no social life. Say you have a cute or ugly neighbor and she's the only one who can play chess and there's nobody else. Now, I get it. You and many women might have or had platonic friendships with adult men right now, or so you claim, and you define and consider or considered those men as friends. I do believe women have no problem compartmentalizing and having male friends. Absolutely. It's more intricate with men, and men very often won't admit some of those feelings, even to themselves, justifying and avoiding inner conversations. It's not different than both sides dating wrong people and refusing to admit that you are not right for each other. Same thing. Why? Because society has conditioned us to suppress those feelings, as those feelings can appear creepy and wanting more is somehow inappropriate. It could be for religious reasons or because majority of men are just not confident at all, especially around beautiful girls. Often these men are happy to play the game and go to coffee meets, hikes, carry that couch of yours when you suddenly call. Or sometimes men just like to be around beautiful girls while quietly and secretly wishing she'd offer more. She would kiss, she would initiate, and so on. Imagining the life and sex together when you'll suddenly see one day. Let's mention the current online dating for a second. Beautiful females are drowning in likes and messages from men who are willing to just go and have a dinner with her, to take her out and pay for her night out. You see what I'm getting at? Exactly. Overweight girls who are not pretty by our standards don't get the same treatment and they don't get any likes or any invitations. That's the reality. And I'm sure you know this as well. And I witnessed these long games with old men in their 60s and 70s as well, many times too, as we don't really change. It's not malicious, but it isn't real either. And I witnessed 30, 40, 50 years old men cheating with their female friends while their wives were truly convinced she was a good friend. And I've seen a good number of men needing 6 to 10 years of working closely together before they'd approach their work crush while drooling for the entire duration with no confidence to make the step. Men do not invest this kind of time and energy in women they have zero attraction for. Period. It's harsh and brutal, but it is what it is. It's the truth. So those teenage boys of yours were probably excusing themselves to the washroom and masturbating after each hangout with you, while dreaming one day their family would propose to your family without them saying a word. Again, many grown men have no confidence. Teenagers have even less confidence. I don't know who was the dumb fuck who said that boys and men must be strong and confident, because this is how all men behave. Just because we are programmed to be in a certain way, because TVs, movies, articles tell us to be, it doesn't mean that we feel this way. In essence, I don't really think men are that different from women who are insecure and don't approach men. We often feel the same way. And if men are known not to share their feelings as freely, then why is it acceptable that we have to initiate an approach, as those actions are considered feelings and desires, and you're expressing them by actions, the action of approaching? As men, our behavior, insecurities, and communication changes in different settings versus with other men, versus family, versus male friends, versus best male friends. And often it takes some deep bonding for men to truly open up. And I don't believe any of those boys acted the same with you or around you versus if you weren't there. Now, you may have perceived yourself as being one of them, but this wasn't necessarily the reality. I've seen it dozens of times growing up from man's perspective, as well later through life again and again. It would blow your mind what an average man would say to a fellow friend when there are no girls around. You would probably vomit in disgust. Seriously. We all wear masks, and it's one of many masks we put on. Men cannot be friends with beautiful women unless we wish and hope for more in some distant future, often in secrecy. And if you're not beautiful, then we will not have you as a friend at all, as it serves us no meaning or purpose. I'm not talking about depressed men, those with trauma or no friends, or in situations when once every 2-3 years you meet someone for coffee. And the last one isn't really what I would call a friend. And if you ever said to any of them, you are such a great friend, that can really stop us in pursuing you. But our hope that one day you will see more in us than a friend, that will stay. We won't say anything because we are afraid that if we say something and you will say no, our friendship will be ruined, and then our hopes for more will never come to reality in the future. We won't say anything because we are afraid that if we say something and you say no, our friendship will be ruined, and then our hopes for more will never come to reality in the future. Essentially, this is why a lot of men choose to play the long game in hopes you will see us and you'll take the first step. And many women do this as well. They dress up, spend hours on makeup, they flirt, even after being rejected, in hopes that their crush will see their value. It's actually very common among teen girls, by the way. And just like men, if you catch her in that lie, she'll deny it, swear, laugh, and insist she has no feelings just to avoid being shamed or called a slut. While your experiences are valid, and I don't deny your side at all, they don't necessarily reflect the hidden reality. And I'll be honest to admit, I was one of those men years ago as well, until I realized it and became honest with myself But the hardest part was actually admitting this to myself. That was very hard. Anyway, Sadia, keep doing your thing. Your content sparks important conversations, but on this one, let's agree to disagree, I guess. Beautiful females are drowning in likes and messages from men who are willing to just go and have a dinner with her. Now, how many ugly women do you see being offered the same treatment? None. I've asked around and it's zero. Maybe a little too much dairy on this one.